Hey there crew members, Starfleet personnel. This is just a quickish, unscheduled visit to this model since a few days ago when I showed you the previous video showed you the details of the model so far. But hey, it's been on my mind a lot. Right now I'm on the underside curvature of the primary hull, the saucer section, and I'm stoked about this one. This is the curvature of the underside of the saucer section, or half of it at least. Gives you an idea of how big this model is. So last night I was working on the model, and suddenly I just thought I've got to look at this curvature and the way it interferes with the line of deck 7. From the inner part of deck 7, which is round about where I am now, over here, to the outer part of deck 7. There's a lot of debate about what this curvature does to the straight line of deck 7, and it clearly cuts the deck. But last night I was looking at the cutaway, this cutaway, the Franz Joseph sideways cutaway of the ship, and as far as I could see, there is actually room for a corridor going from the inner part of deck 7 to the outer part of deck 7. And to my delight, there is actually enough room, and I've done it here. I've done a very quick mock-up sketch, 3D sketch of it. To my delight, there is, and it's a reasonable corridor. It's just a very low head height, very low ceiling height when it gets to this point here, the midsection of that curve. Let me show you handheld. Okay, so here it is, and I'll just say now that this piece that I've just added on last night, it is literally held together with masking tape. You can see the masking tape there holding the whole thing together. So this really is just a quick sketch, and all I'm doing is I'm finding out, there you go, side on. I was just desperate to find out whether this curvature could still have connection from the outer part of deck 7 to the inner part of deck 7. There's our crew, our 1/25th scale crewman, who is standing in the outer corridor of deck 7. Just going to come around, and I've kept this area open so you can see the corridor. But there, look at that. It's just a sweep, like a gentle rise up through the curvature, and then it would get to this point here, the maximum, and then begin sloping down to the inner part of deck 7. Let me show you this. There's our captain. Quite happy with him actually. He was just a standard 1/25th scale, and I kind of carved him out. Gave him some nice Starfleet trousers and boots. Nice Starfleet uniform there, so I'm quite happy with that. Anyway, this is what the corridor will look like from the outer part of deck 7 to the inner part of deck 7, and you can clearly see that there's almost no head height whatsoever. If I bring out the figure here, you can see the head height for him now back on the level. A piece of masking tape has come off there, so it's slow. You can see that the head height is he's got a lot more headroom than our captain, who is up at the top of that curvature. Now I'm going to lay it down on the floor and show you, give you an idea of just how big this model is going to be. that first red marker that you see is where the curvature comes back down to the inner part of deck 7. So that's that first marker. Look at the size of that. Okay, so we come even further back to there's the second marker, and then that third marker. Okay, get this, that third marker is the center of the saucer section. It's going to be big. So that the center of the saucer section there is 220 centimeters. So then the full length of the saucer section, the diameter, is approximately 440. So I'm just tracing this line, tracing this line back here to 440 centimeters. Right there. That's where it finishes. So yeah. Look at that. You know, so when you read in the title that I'm building the biggest Starship Enterprise model ever made, you can see that I'm not joking. I'm not kidding. Just going to come up and trace the line of the tape measure back in here to the middle of the sweeping curvature, and then we're just going to finish looking down onto the briefing room table. This is a super important part of the build, and it's a question that many people ask of, like, how does that work? You know, you've got this, you know, of course you've got deck 6, which is flat, but then you've got this big curve underneath the saucer section. How does that work? I've seen other stuff done online where somebody interpreted it as a crawlway, but you know, I'm going with the Franz Joseph plans here, that side cutaway, and it fits perfectly. I blew it up on my computer, and it fits perfectly with these deck heights and also the width of the corridor, so I was super pleased about that. As always, I hope the video finds you well. I'm going to get right into this now and enjoy every minute of it, and I'll see you very soon with the next video showing this this development. Bye for now.